Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm glad to be seeing so many friendly faces. Thank you to so many of our alumni and friends who've decided to join us today. We had 96 registrations for today, which is a lot. So I appreciate and the partnership with DPAE to make sure that our town hall works. So thank you, and thank you to Kelsey for your work getting this up and going. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to put on the screen some slides. It'll just keep me focused. We had some really good questions that we'll get to at the end that were already provided for us, and then we'll have some more time for others as we go along. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I can. All right. After I practiced, I did it wrong. So we're going to do this, and then I'm going to start sharing. All righty. All right, everybody. So welcome again. Kind of the theme for this year is a new year, a new us. So if you were with us for our first town hall, which would have been back in the spring semester, we shared some updates about the college and how things were changing because we were going through some reorganization. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I've got some celebrating the successes that I wanted to share, honoring some of our alumni, some ways to engage with us, and then questions, and of course, closing at the end. So it's a new year, it's a new us. This is our new college name, College of Education and Human Services. We're excited we officially become the college on next Tuesday when we start the new academic year on August 20th. But just a little bit of a announcement here of who we are. So it's very exciting. I know last year there were lots of questions about how the structure would look, what would it be like. So just a quick, for those who've been in EHS the last 20 years or so, we had 4 schools. We now have 2 schools. So the new college has the School of Lifespan Development and Educational Sciences, which many of you know already and love. And then we also have the School of Teaching, Learning, and Curriculum Studies. So I'm going to show you a slide, but don't expect you're going to see everything. I just want to give you the gist. When we send out the follow-up, you can always look in the catalog if you're looking for a particular major, but we have a lot of major certificates and undergraduate and graduate programs in TLCS and in LDES. So a lot of the things that you thought of that were in TLCS are in there, but also for some of you, I know there are several graduates from our higher ed program who are online today. Higher ed has moved into the School of Teaching, Learning, and Curriculum Studies. I'm pretty sure I might have seen a K-12 administrator graduate, and that program has also moved into TLCS, and Cultural Foundations, definitely saw a Cultural Foundations alum on here. That program also moved into TLCS for the new college. RMS, for some of you who graduated more recently, but eval for back in the day, research measurement and statistics has moved into the Lifespan Development and Educational Sciences schools. So many of the things that were in these schools are still there. We had one major long-term care administration that was in Lifespan Development and Educational Sciences that moved with our health sciences friends to become part of the new College of Public Health and Health Sciences. And so did within TLCS our SEP program, which is was one of our psychology, our sport, exercise, and performance psychology programs. It moved as well to health sciences. So this hopefully just visually sort of shows you how we separated. We have 2 really large schools right now, but I'm very excited about how well that they represent what we do as a new college. So there's many things that we mentioned in the last town hall that have really taken shape and have formed throughout the last year. So shared services, we've been moving along on some of these. We have centralized some of our services and found new ways to work together across colleges and across the university as a whole. Those have been going really well. Um, Budget scholarships, foundation funds, all of these items have moved into their new locations and are really up and going. The college as a whole has been focused this last year and will continue to focus in the next year or two on processes and procedures, analysis, and analyzing and changing process and procedures, looking for always ways to improve. We have a new vision, mission, and set of values. We talked a little bit about this last time and you gave some feedback. I don't really want to share yet because we have not fully unveiled everything as a whole and finished talking about all the nuanced details, but I'll get those to you as soon as we, as a college, have finalized all the pieces. So that's a little bit on all the changes. I'm really excited for this year as we begin a foundation year as a new college of year one of EHS. And so there's a lot of good things to look forward to, but there's a lot to look back on too. So this year we had a lot of successes. Besides transitioning from EHS to EHS, this year we gave nearly $500,000 in scholarships to EHS students. So a lot of that obviously is in part to some of you. Many of us that have donated over the years to different scholarships, and then some of our long-term donors who have endowed scholarships as well. But super excited that we were able to give so much money this year. We had a really strong philanthropy year as well. We had 454 donors across this year and 1.2 million in cash gifts in fiscal year 26. So that's something really to applaud. I'm hoping for a stronger year next year. One of the things you'll notice, these are numbers for EHHS because that's who we were. We're going to have to do a lot of adjustment, and luckily DPAE is on board with us making some adjustments so we can tell the difference over time between what would have been the new college and compare over time. So we're trying to establish some baselines there. We also had the highest number of grant proposals in 10 years. So when we think about what our faculty and staff have been doing in terms of grant proposals, it was a hard year for, I know many of you who are alumni are still in higher ed. So you do know that this has been an interesting year for grants, but we had the highest number of grant proposals in 10 years. So a lot of productivity. We were able to name 2 new professorships. We call them the Toll Gorman because they are named for 2 former faculty. And those are exciting. That came out in our news, so we've got this in the alumni news and notes, but we were really excited for that. And those 2 faculty were announced in the spring, and they're really gearing up. They've been thinking all summer about what they might be engaging in and some of the new innovative work that they might do in the communities and with research as we go into this year. All right, something everybody loves, Whitehall. Right. All right, so I wanted to give you some updates on the renovations. So if you've been around, you know that we had another year of construction this summer, updating the HVAC on the 3rd floor. And we will finish out the HVAC next summer as well. I don't have a good final picture because it's still mid-construction, but maybe we can get one of those to send in the follow-up email as well. So one of the pieces that was put in place this summer with the HVAC was they redid the front. So it's called a curtain wall, but a new window wall on what used to be the terrace entrance. So the east side that faces the business building. So that is being developed into a new entryway, which is exciting. But one of the great exciting pieces for me is that we did get the appropriation for phase 3 of the building renovations, and that should include 2 floors of renovations in terms of the walls and classrooms and things of that nature, but also building out some more of the underneath areas. So if you haven't been on campus, with the building of the new business building, there was a lot of changing of the basement, which used to be fully open. So we'll be closing in part of that for some open atrium space as well. So there's a lot of changes underway, and then hopefully we'll get phase 4 in appropriations when we ask for it in 2 more years. So I'm pretty excited about all these changes to Whitehall as we move along. It's a little bit of construction right now between the changing road and the changes for the building, but in the end, it's going to be beautiful. I did want to talk about some other really awesome successes is that we have named the 2026 EHS Hall of Fame group. And so I wanted to share these with you. Hopefully you recognize somebody that you might know. Over the years, it's a great group of some of obviously our recent alumni winner, as well as a wide variety across the years. So we're going to be highlighting them this year. We'll have some news stories. We're going to try to find ways for them to engage with our students, and hopefully be able to celebrate them all year long, not just once. But if you want to just celebrate with us once, put a note for November 14th. It's a Saturday. We'll have a luncheon celebration and spend some time with our award Hall of Fame winners then. So just wanted to share this so that you're able to see it. Some other events to look forward to if you want to jot some notes and think about a time to connect with us. Homecoming is always a great time. So Saturday, October 3rd, I'll be there. You can come hang out while we watch the parade and walk around campus, maybe see the front of Whitehall as it's starting to take shape. The counseling program celebrates its 80th anniversary this year. So they have 2 celebrations, and they're doing their celebrations this year at their conferences because so many of their alum are all over the state and the country. So if you are on here from counseling, and I feel like I saw at least one name when I was looking at the list that I knew, make a note. There'll be a celebration in October or November, depending on which conference you go to. So I'm excited about those. As I mentioned, the Hall of Fame, the Alumni Awards celebration on November 14th. And then be looking forward to Giving Tuesday, which, of course, we spend an entire month celebrating Giving Tuesday with lots of different events and ways to give between November 1st and December 1st. Giving Tuesday is the Giving Tuesday proper. And we have 2 funds that we'll be looking towards, so be thinking about this. One is for the Child Development Center. There'll be featured funds, hopefully, and hopefully we'll have another one with our overseas student teaching. We're still waiting for final approvals, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to run those as special funds this year. But it's also just a good time to find different ways to multiply your giving. There's always different matches and exponential partnerships that we can take advantage of and get more money for our students. Next spring, also I'll mark the date, is March 27th. So the Gerald H. Reed Center for International Intercultural Education is celebrating its 40th anniversary with a gala on March 27th. So think about coming and joining us for that as well. As we continue to think about, there are so many ways to get involved. I'd love to see some of you. One way is nominating an alum for the Hall of Fame. So we have multiple awards, and we do the Hall of Fame every 2 years. So be thinking about someone that you would love to nominate that fills one of our categories. If you have a question, it's on our website, but you could also just reach out to Kelsey. She's in here at the bottom, the K Hugo 1. But Kelsey can fill you in. She can talk to you about any of the details. But it's a good way to really recognize work that our alum have been doing, either brand new graduates in their first few years or someone who's been an alum for 20 or 30 years. It has a long career of impact. You can join us for any of those events that we've had, bring a friend, participate in Giving Tuesday, speak to a group of students about your experiences, work with recruitment. There's just so many ways to get engaged. Just reach out to Kelsey and she'll try to find a way to connect you to the right person or event that meets what you would like to do. Um, so I hope to see you at something soon. Questions and answers. So we have time for questions and answers. I had some really good ones, so I'm going to stop sharing because I had some very good questions ahead of time, and I've got those. And since folks did give me some of those ahead of time, I do want to recognize them. All right, stop sharing. I need to get my notes up. All right. There was a good question from an alum who is also a current faculty member who asked about one single thing that an instructor can do to help EHS, the new college, grow and prosper. And I really love the spirit of this question. For this person and everyone else, actually, what I like to say is to think about yourselves as like our best ambassador. You are the best college ambassador, and anything that you can do when you work with anyone, because anyone's a future student or a future learner, a future partner, a future contributor in some way, shape, or form to how EHS grows. So think about whoever you're talking to, telling a good story. Having a story of your experience to talk about that highlights the successes of EHS, talking about a colleague, um, anything that you've been experiencing. Word of mouth is our best ambassador for our of our college, and that will really help to build all of these connections as we go through. So share good news, make connections, make a connection between somebody that you meet and one of us. When you're talking, you're going to hear things that you're like, huh, that's a great, that was something that I know so and so. If you think about, oh, you know what, I had this class uh, with a professor in special education, and I know that they were interested in this. Maybe I'll make this introduction and a connection for them. So just be thinking about there's an important part for you to play in that. So anything that you can do like that, that's a great way to contribute. And of course, as an instructor like this person, being the most amazing teacher that I know you are, that's a great way to help us succeed as well. We had like I said, a lot of really good questions. I had a question about, as the new College of Education and Human Services begins, what are I most excited about in terms of opportunities with the new structures, how this creates new things for students, faculty, staff, alumni, and partners. If anyone's been around me, I'm excited about all of this. There are so many opportunities. I think that what it does is it allows us to really have a very sharp focus on our purpose and values. And with that, the ability to serve our communities better. We'll be able to really hone in on what our students need, what our communities need, and how we can best serve um, the public and our students. So that's just a little something about that. There are somebody asked about greatest opportunities as we move into the future, and also how alumni and donors, faculty, staff, friends can help advance that. I think that we have so many opportunities for interdisciplinary and new efforts. We have amazing, thoughtful faculty and staff who are really very creative, who are really interested in connecting with and solving some of the problems in the world. And I think that that is where we are going to be able to have a lot of impact. And so again, sort of like what I said before, if you're an alum, make connections with us, reach back out, connect. You may be part of a partnership that one of our faculty or staff wants to build. So just be thinking about those types of things. And like I said, it's Kelsey. You can always reach out to me too. So if you have an idea, let us know. I love ideas. Um, I had a good question from somebody who had a concern, and it's quite long, so I'm going to summarize a little bit. But there essentially was a question related to concerns around the impact of Senate Bill 1 on faculty's ability to have the curriculum and teach in the ways that they, as their discipline thinks is best. And from a social studies education background, my background, I totally, understand that concern. And so I did want to talk a little bit about that and share a little bit. Throughout the year, we've been working on this. There were definitely the pieces we're taking out that are direct control on content. So academic freedom was actually supported in the bill in certain ways. And I think that that's important. Programs do have academic freedom. So this person was very concerned about very specific like content that wouldn't be allowed in a class. But it's definitely programs have learning outcomes, programs have their disciplines to look to. And actually, this is something that faculty have been working through this year. Like, what does the law say? What can we do within our programs? What is allowed? There are lots of things in Senate Bill 1 that we're still working out in terms of how to make sure we are complying, but they weren't necessarily about that piece. So I just wanted to share a little bit that I do understand the person's concern about whether or not we would be able to have topics that might seem controversial or things like that, because some of our disciplines are rife with controversy because it's the nature, like history, political science. Those are actually part of the discipline, and that's not something that was controlled. And so I just wanted to reassure that those are things that are out there. I will say, because also of concern was the closure of our identity centers. And that was something that was in the law. But our faculty and staff have had a long history of meeting the needs of our students. And I do think Student Life has worked very hard this year to navigate compliance and making sure that our students knew we are still there to support every single student and to make sure that they all feel like they belong. But if anybody ever still has questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to talk. There was a question about our name change. What influenced the name change, and how did these influences impact the trajectory of program offerings? So the name change came about because we had a major academic affairs restructuring process. And in that process, our college became smaller, and the College of Public Health and Health Sciences obviously became larger. There was a reorganization to focus on these two colleges changing to being a little more streamlined. And then we had a couple of our programs that are far more aligned to business who also moved to the college, the Ambassador Crawford College of Business and Entrepreneurship. And a lot of this, obviously, we had to change our name because we lost many of our health sciences programs, went to the new College of Public Health and Health Sciences, who also changed their name. So that's what started the process of changing our name. All righty, so I've made it through, I think, most of the questions that were asked ahead of time. If anybody's got another question, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I'll do my best. Kelsey, is there anything showing up in the Q&A? I'm trying to double check myself.
All quiet.
Oh, there's one. So enrollment is interesting. We have an incoming class of about 210 freshmen. But I will say we are down in numbers overall. And I would say, yes, some of this is obviously views of higher education and the value in society. So we're all living with this right now as we um, try to find a new reality. So we're down, not as much down as we could be, thank goodness. We're definitely down in graduate enrollment. If you've been watching any of the higher ed news right now, you will see lots of concern over the impact of a drop in international student population. That has been a significant hit for everyone in the country. I actually have some colleagues at an institution in Texas that it was 50% or so of their graduate population. So it was a huge hit for some people. It was significant for Kent State, and for some programs in the university, very significant. But I am optimistic. I think we all have work to do to really work with students who are coming through school and really thinking about what's the best decision for them, and not assume the college is what everyone's going to choose. So it is down, but I think it's pretty normal for where everybody is right now. All right, Vanessa. Centralized forms like the graduate handbook, dissertation guidelines. Ooh, that's a good question. We'll make a note of that for Joe to look at. I think that all student services will be under one spot, Vanessa. So I would think that it would fall under that, but I haven't looked at it to see where it is actually located lately. So we'll make a note of that to make sure that we do see that. Thank you. Um, the name change affect graduate students in any way? You'll have a different name on your degree. That is, and if your program moved, which I do know your program did not, but if your program moved, then you will move to another college. All those students received emails, multiple messages in May and through the summer, so that they knew where they were. Really, in some ways, as a graduate student, it's the reorganization is structural, and so shouldn't interfere with your daily life as a graduate student, except for names. There's actually some other name changes. So the College of Arts and Sciences changed the College of Science and Humanities. So I jokingly have said that just means we get a different order at graduation for us and where we sit. So there's some of those things that have changed, but it should not, the name change itself. The big thing that you'll notice is you'll have a different college name on your final, on your degree and on your transcript. Maybe a different box you have to check. It'll say Education and Human Services instead of Education, Health and Human Services. Otherwise, you hopefully should feel nothing else different. Any other questions? Double checking one more time. Not seeing any others. To see my wait time. Well, I will call this to an end then. I'm super excited for this year and I look forward to all of that we accomplish. Faculty and students are back on campus full time next week. We start moving soon. We have our college kickoff on Thursday, and then we have on campus if you're not on campus. So the student for all the new freshmen coming in, we have the dean's welcome on next Friday. Convocation, which is always exciting right after that. So lots of good things happening in the weeks to come. So I'm excited to share in the next few months in lots of new progress and things like that. I will see everyone at our next town hall, hopefully. Have a great have a great afternoon.